Hey guys, we are Ariel, Tori, and Austin, and welcome to This Is How We Mom, a real unfiltered podcast from three mom friends navigating motherhood, marriage, and life in our 30s. No fluff, no curated answers, just honest conversations and genuine reactions. Each episode, one of us brings a surprise topic to the pod, and the other two have no idea what's coming. We share our perspectives, our chaos, and our meltdown of the month, because with 6 kids under 4, there's always something wild to laugh or cry about. Expect candid mom talk, relatable stories, toddler drama, and plenty of humor. This is our outlet for surviving motherhood, and we'd love for you to join in on the ride.
Where were we? Your turn.
Okay. Gosh, I feel like it's a mouthful. I was feeling I'm going to preface a few bullet points here before we get started.
Perfect.
Only because I always say, I never judge anyone's opinions. However, we are fully putting a whole lot of information out for everybody to judge us.
Absolutely. So please don't.
So I don't know how I'll handle that. I'm such
We're going to
crazy...
turn off our notifications pretty early on.
Yeah.
You can't hurt our feelings because we're not going to read the comments. Just kidding. We will read your good comments.
I feel, as I tell all of our stories and we talk about everything, I never want anyone to ever discredit, like Tori said earlier, how fully grateful we are for the babies we have. When we talk about the ones we don't have or how we felt like we wanted more but didn't feel like we could, all things considered, we are so grateful for the babies we have.
I agree.
So,
First
stories. All right, my oldest, he is 4. And I also feel like I'm kind of one of those gals that people kind of hate, when it comes to pregnancy, because I love it. I love being pregnant. Pregnancy's easy on my body. I don't get sick. I don't know I'm pregnant right away. I find out early, but not for any other reason other than
you
just took the pregnancy test. Our first one was very kind of like the normal appointments. 20 weeks I was feeling great. We get to 34 weeks, and that's when you start having your every 2 week-ish appointments, 32 weeks around there.
34, 36, I feel like. I don't know, can't remember.
Somewhere around there. And so I saw my midwife the whole time, my 34-week appointment. We kind of just went over symptoms for preeclampsia as I was getting closer to the end. I had no signs of it, no swelling, everything was great. And I just remember waking up one day being so annoyed at how tired I was. 2021 was one of the hottest summers on record in Nebraska. Multiple 100-degree days. Nights didn't get cool. We don't have AC in our house. Oh my God, it was just so hot. I was 34 weeks in the middle of July, so I kind of just thought I was hot and just pregnant. Nearing the end, nobody wants to be pregnant by the end of their pregnancy, you're ready to just have the baby. The middle of the night is when I woke up with right upper quadrant pain, one of the main signs. And more so one of the main signs of HELLP syndrome than preeclampsia. I refused to call up to labor and delivery. I was I'm not calling up there at 2 a.m. I didn't really fully understand either that they always had someone on call, so I took a long hot bath, tried to get it to go away. I slept a couple of hours in the bath, just kind of relaxed, woke up. It was still there. It was probably 5 o'clock, so I chose to call up there and just said, hey, I have this right upper quadrant pain. I know I'm not supposed to have it. Do I need to come in? And they were like, well, have you checked your blood pressure? I said, no, not yet, but I have a blood pressure cuff coming over to the house. And they said, well, take your blood pressure and take some Tylenol, and if it doesn't go away, then call us back. And I said, okay. Took some Tylenol, fell asleep for a little bit, woke up, and it was still there. It wasn't as bad, but it was still there. Enough to know that, it wasn't right. So I call, and they're like, yeah, why don't you come up? We'll just check you, and we'll make sure everything's okay. I got up there, had my blood, my labs drawn, and I was basically in full-blown HELLP syndrome from there on, which not a lot of people know about. Elevated liver enzymes, high blood pressure, low platelet count. You're just very sick. And there's really no way to fix it outside of delivery, no matter where you're at in your pregnancy. So, 34 weeks, I drove myself up there. I'm they're going to maybe put me on bed rest, not thinking anything of it. I was like, you can come up, like, when you're done with irrigation or whatever. So I call him, crying, obviously. And I'm like, well, we're going to be having a baby. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
It's like 4 weeks from now.
Right.
No.
So, first one obviously really catches you off guard, right? And then, of course, we only had like that 1 20-week ultrasound, right? Because I wasn't high risk. Right. All of that. So, we get up there, they admit me. Because I'm in HELLP syndrome, I have to be hooked up to magnesium. If nobody knows what that is, I don't wish that upon my worst enemy, because it just is. It just makes you feel crappy. And it makes people feel crappier than I felt. Literally, this is how I explain it to people. Like, you're at the bar, and if you take one more shot, like, it's what tips you over the edge. That's where I rode the whole time on that magnesium. And so we go into all of this, and I, like, really didn't want an epidural, right? Like, I did want to see... I have a fairly high pain tolerance. I wanted to test my body. I wanted to see what I could do. At that 4.5 hour mark, I knew I was doing the exact opposite to fight the contractions of what my body needed to do. Right. So I get my epidural. Thank God my husband didn't pass out. You're like bent over, don't move, but like while you're having a middle of contraction, like, it's wild. Get the epidural. I'm not even all the way situated back into my bed. And I look at my nurse and I'm like, I have to push. And she's like, there's no way. And I'm like, no, I really feel like I have to push. And they check me and I'm ready. That's how bad my body was fighting relaxing. So, I push. I didn't have to push for very long. Everything went really smooth. Riggs came out, but Riggs came out purple. He had the cord wrapped around his neck 3 times, which was scary. We have triple the amount of people anyways. Shift change, NICU, I'm sick, like the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. So they get him to cry, and then he has great stats, and he's very healthy, so we get him for about 5 minutes before they whisk him into the NICU and, start all of that. I felt in that time my body did what it needed to do. I felt kind of like my body knew that it needed to deliver a baby. Like, I was sick. You're no longer a good house for this baby. We need to take care of it in the NICU to make everything better. Yeah. So then he goes into the NICU. They leave you on the magnesium for 12 hours. So then he was in the NICU for 21 days. I've always also said, I'm so thankful we've had healthy NICU babies. All things considered, our babies have been, they take the steps backwards, but they take their steps forwards. The NICU is a huge roller coaster ride. And I don't know if anyone can mentally prepare you for it. I really don't until you've been there. So he, all things considered, with the NICU, was healthy. I have exclusively pumped for all 3 of my babies, which is a whole, like we said, a whole nother topic. Yeah, exclusively pumping.
We do a whole episode on it, I feel like.
Yeah, just feeding your baby. We'll add that to the list.
Yeah, they whisked me in really fast to try and get him to latch because he showed signs, sucking on pacifiers, things like that.
Yeah.
I just truly felt if it boiled down to my baby needing to gain weight and grow and also be able to eat all of their food and not exhaust themselves to get out of the NICU, like, let's not make them work twice as hard.
Because that's also something that people don't know about NICU babies if they haven't been around them or haven't had them, that they get tired so quick because they're just working so hard to even just survive.
Yeah.
Let alone then putting in the work to actually get milk from your breast. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially for those little babies.
And like, learning to, the suck, swallow, and breathe, for them to not, Brady down and aspirate. Like, it's a huge... They're not there yet. Like, they weren't meant to be here this early. Absolutely. They have a lot of setbacks. Yeah. Riggs never had any setbacks. Like I said, he was just a pretty, like they tell you, pretty boring NICU baby. Pretty straightforward. Early. He just was early. He needed help.
And he had the cord wrapped around his neck.
Yeah. So he was pretty straightforward. Truett was our hardest NICU baby. I went in with him at 36 weeks. Also, to preface, when I sat down with my husband when we were making choices to have another baby and when we wanted to start trying, it took us a while with Riggs. over a year. We were about at the mark, like about the month I got married was about the month we were going to start trying to figure out like why I couldn't get pregnant when I got pregnant, not married. We were going to start trying to figure out like why it was so hard for us to get pregnant.
Right.
I got pregnant. So then we wanted to try pretty right away. And I wanted my babies close.
Just to allow for that time, too.
Yep. Yeah. We started trying, like, at the 6-month mark, and we had it figured out. It took one time.
Yeah.
Didn't take long with that one, and we were, like, talking about it, but then 6 months, you're going to have 2 under 2, like, you're going to have the whole thing. But with Truett, we saw an MFM. They really, with Truett, we found out that my gallbladder's full of gallstones, which probably is what makes my liver kind of go into overtime a little bit and shut down. But it wasn't anything where they felt like I needed to have surgery while pregnant. I have, no symptoms of my gallstones. So, and the MFM kind of cleared me. Graduated from the MFM. Decided again, I went with the midwife because if I didn't have to be induced or anything, I wanted to try again to naturally go into labor. I didn't count that out. And also to clarify, they give you 50-50 chance that you can develop preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome again, which I think are crappy odds.
Yeah.
If it's 100% chance that you're going to do it again, I think you weigh odds a little bit different on how soon you're going to have babies. Yeah, all of that. 50-50, I'm well, I'm getting ready to turn 30. I don't want to be late in my 30s having babies. Let's just try.
I think those odds change now, too, because there's a lot of studies that I've read that because they have no idea what causes it.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk that it was a genetic component from the mom, whatever.
And from the dad.
Now there's a bunch of studies that are showing that it's linked to the dad because the dad donates the necessary genes that make the placenta.
Yeah.
And it's linked to the placenta.
That makes 1,000%.
And you hear 50-50 and you're well, that can't happen to me again.
Right.
In my mind, it'd be that can't possibly happen to me twice.
And again, on the fairly positive side that I am, I was well, let's hope that we don't. 50-50, we're not going to have it again.
Yeah.
Which we didn't with Truett. Curveball. Truett, I did not have to have him early because of preeclampsia or HELLP syndrome. Great pregnancy, monthly blood draws, monthly ultrasounds, all the things. He was growing great. No concerns for growth restrictions, rigs, anything like that. I had 0 amniotic fluid. They also correlate that with, water intake and hydration, and I drink 2 gallons of water a day. So, that was weird, right? I drink plenty of water. So we decide to, instead of letting things get worse, I'm 36 weeks. Let's just roll with it instead of pushing our luck. They decide to induce me. He's not handling things well. Heart rate kind of keeps dipping more than we want. Let's monitor you and see how we're doing. Fully balloon, which everyone has horror stories on. I didn't feel it, which was great. Just the balloon.
Misoprostol?
Maybe.
Did they give that?
Maybe. But they had me all hooked up. Fully balloon. So fast had me at the 20 whatever millimeter
10
centimeters?
Centimeters? I can't remember. Whatever
I
it
think
is.
it only gets to 10.
They have it. I thought it went to 20.
I don't think it gets to 20.
Are you talking about the CCs and the balloon?
Yes, the CCs.
Oh, gotcha.
CCs.
I thought you meant
10 centimeters
10
dilated.
milliliters.
Yes.
It's
I hope it doesn't get to 20.
Yeah.
So I was I don't think your cervix
what
is
do they
supposed to get
do?
that
We
big.
would never come back from 20.
What do they do in Nebraska?
We would never get laid ever again because
We're never coming back from 20. Nobody is.
Wouldn't recover.
Our husbands would leave us.
Okay, so 20 cc's of that.
His heart rate kind of starts tanking, so they back it out and they lower it down because they went fairly quick to get me there. Backed it down. He wasn't handling it. Doctor went home overnight. Same midwife that I had for Riggs. Doctor went home, came back. She told me she was going home, and then she came back in and checked things again, and I was that's kind of weird, that you said you were going home 2 hours ago and you're still here watching my monitor. She's we just want to watch you throughout the night, so, however often.
Yeah.
Those bands, I have so many feelings about those
Yeah.
Velcro bands on your belly not doing the job.
There has
gotta be a better way, right?
There is.
Way.
It's just more invasive, you guys.
Yeah, well, that's valid. But
So, always every time you move, they have to come in, readjust. So we made it through the night. They come in early morning. The nurse comes and checks and is like, I'm going to have someone else come in and check you too. I'm like, okay. She comes in and she checks me. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go visit with the doctor. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Doctor comes in. If anyone's ever been checked, I'd rather birth a baby than be checked
100%.
4 times.
Especially without an epidural.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm like, holy shit. 3 women, and then the guy doctor comes in and checks me too. And I'm like, oh, hell. Here we go again.
Who else wants to come up here?
Any students?
Jason?
Yeah.
I did have a student.
Any students? Like,
I had a student too.
And they say, we're going to do an ultrasound, but from what we can tell, we can feel baby's arm. We can feel baby's hand. Baby's hand is up by his head, which means he's not in position to vaginally deliver. Like, we can try. And I'm like, honestly, again, I stand pretty firm in this. No. Like, let's cut out
It's a no for me,
any
dog.
issues. Like, yeah, like, I don't want to cause, and doctors, I
Break
will
his
always be
shoulder.
so
He gets
grateful
shoulder dystocia.
and
yeah.
very grateful that they're like, they try to stay calm with their words, but like, I need the black and white honesty
For
as
sure.
well, which was, we don't know how long his arm's been there. We don't know if he's losing circulation. Like, it's probably just better off that we do a C-section. And I'm like, okay,
Fine.
let's do it. They moved fairly quick. Like, they also did a great job of covering up how concerned they were about it. Because with, like, his heart rate tanking, I had a phenomenal doctor. He's in Texas now. I wish he would come back. He was so quick, so smooth with my C-section. I was thankfully able to get the spinal and stay awake for it with that one. I wish I would have watched it. I'm kind of one of those weirdos.
Yeah,
I wish I would have had
too.
them drop my drape, and I wish I could have seen it. Like,
Yeah.
seen more of it.
That's my worst nightmare.
Blood and guts, pass out. Jason would have been right there with you. Jason saw the drain tube of them suctioning the blood from my C-section, and he almost passed out.
The
And I'm
fact
like,
that you just said blood in a drain tube, I'm about to pass out. Okay,
I
keep
was like,
going.
Jason,
Oh my
like,
God.
focus somewhere else. Like, focus anywhere but there. True, it was healthy. He was my hardest because we had him for 12 hours, and then they took him to the NICU. So we had, like, the high hopes that we were going to get to skip the NICU. He couldn't balance his blood sugars, regulate his temperatures, you know, all of that kind of stuff. At one point, postpartum, I had him in my room. He was in, like, two or three, like, a onesie, and I think they had him in, like, 2 pairs of pajamas, just keeping him warm. He was our shortest, 12 days. My mom was there for a while. Got to bring him home to his brother, but it was, yeah, those days are long, like, you're divided. You know, you can go up and see and do cares every 3 hours, but when you're pumping in between, those 3 hours are kind of, like, taken away, so you're trying to find time to rest and heal from a C-section and, like, do all of your postpartum appointments, along with, like, your 14-month-old at home and, like, your one in the NICU, so that balance gets trickier with each of them, for sure. My postpartum doctor saw me. I'll just throw this in because we always talk about birth control. And she's like, I don't know, like, this is my 1 week C-section check. Anybody who's had a baby I know is not thinking about getting laid after 1 week of having a baby.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what are we doing for birth control today? And I was like, I'll just never forget being like, huh?
And you're like, you don't have any other questions?
Is
Can we
this
talk
a
about, like, the baby
concern?
I just had?
Yeah.
Instead
Oh, yeah.
of...
And I know it's protocol, but why is it protocol that early on? And maybe there's got to be a reason, I get it, but it just bothers me because, like,
Right.
I am not focusing on that right now.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Yeah, like, I'm just trying to keep my baby alive, keep me alive,
Yeah, far from
keep
it.
my husband away from me.
Literally.
They feel so deprived. Poor guys.
Poor guys.
Poor guys. Yeah. And again, both my boys are healthy, and you would never know that they were in the NICU. You know,
Yeah.
they caught up just fine. They were a wild 4 and 3-year-old, so no issues there. Are we ready for the third?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Oh man, I feel like I should have already told the story. Lainey was a different story. from the get-go. Again, we never find out what we're having. We always wait till the end, till birth for a surprise. So from the get-go, her pregnancy was just harder. Like, I wasn't puking sick, anything like that. I would have really random waves of nausea, which was weird for me because I didn't get it with the boys. I had a massive appetite, which was opposite of the boys. And, you start to weigh things in your head, like, what's different versus what's not, to, like, see if you are having, like, another boy, or a girl. And with the boys, I loved, like, salty foods, all things salty. Lainey, I craved sweets. And I still have
That's
not.
gotta be a girl thing.
I still have not gotten rid of my sweet tooth. Like, I tell people all the time, like, it could go away. It could help with my weight loss a little bit here, but it's staying pretty strong. Like, my hormones, you can tell, are just still balancing out because that sweet tooth. And I've always had a sweet tooth, but the one of where I feel like
mine has never gone away.
Give me a Snickers now, like I need chocolate, is crazy.
The amount of fast breaks I eat, it never went away. And it blows my mind because I never liked sweet, ever.
Yeah.
And I still cannot kick the sweet tooth. I will go do anything, like, exert my body at all, and I instantly, like, I need a fast break. I will stop at a gas station for a king size.
I will, like,
break.
make specific stops.
I don't think I've ever eaten a fast break. Don't even know what that
Hey,
is.
You're missing out.
Sponsor us.
You're missing out.
Fast break, girl. Yeah. So
Again,
you thought you knew.
Kind of. Also, in a weird way, even though no matter what we had, we would have been happy with 3 boys. I was convinced I was going to be a boy mom through and through. Totally fine with it. Part of your brain, though, also goes to, like, I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, if it's not a girl, I don't want to talk myself into it and then have a chance of being disappointed if it's another boy.
Yeah, for sure.
I know people who have really gone through that and really struggle with it, and I just never wanted to put myself in that spot. So, again, monthly appointments, monthly blood draws, the urine samples, all pregnancies have to do that. With Lainey at, like, 14 weeks, maybe, I already had protein in my urine.
Shut the front door.
So Liz was like, that's really weird. I was seeing,
It's like a homeopathic one.
I was seeing my midwife, but I was also alternating into another doctor at this point because I knew if I needed any intervention at all, there was no. If I was going early, if I needed to be induced, there was none of that. I was having another C-section.
Right.
If I randomly went into labor full term, I was going to try and do it myself. But that was the pretty.
So you
that was the
bases.
birth plan I had. Like, intervention, sick, I'm not doing the Pitocin, I'm not doing any of that. We're cutting that risk. We're going straight to. And because mostly I, like, wholeheartedly wanted to skip magnesium. I did not want to have to be on that shit again. It's terrible. And 14 weeks, protein starts showing in my urine. No other side effects, like my blood pressure staying good. I pay close attention to it, and I know, like, when I'm feeling off that I should check for things. I was gaining a lot of weight. Like, I was retaining fluid really early on. Mm-hmm. I noticed my swelling. My first hint to it was I was waking up in the middle of the night, my hands were numb, like tingly, like I was losing circulation. Like, holy shit, I'm like barely 20 weeks. Like, this is going to be miserable. And I had a lot of discomfort up high that I didn't ever have with the boys. Like, I would sit and I would rather stand because there was just discomfort. And I'm like, it's got to be a girl. We hit like 26 weeks, 28 weeks. And Liz was like, okay, we're going every 2 weeks. Like, we've got to start earlier. Like, we were hitting pretty high. Very early on, we were walking a tightrope. There was, like, we were just kind of, like, in limp mode is what I tell people. Week to week, every 2 weeks, hoping that we can get further along. So, like, the 28 weeks after I have that appointment with my midwife, she gets in a side-by-side wreck, and she's out for, like, 10 weeks. So just see my one doctor, and I just remember asking her, like, okay, how long are we walking this tightrope? Like, I am fully aware that the only answer to this is delivery. Like, so I know that, right? Like, you're rolling the dice, you know, there's not
Every
really
day
a
you're
good...
rolling the dice. Yeah.
There's not a good answer. Anything before 32 weeks in Nebraska, you're flown to Denver. I have 2 babies at home that are 2 and under. Like, this is a curveball that I'm like, man, I don't know, like, let's just keep seeing what we're doing. 30 weeks comes and we're kind of still just doing the same thing. I'm watching my blood pressure. I'm not comfortable with my blood pressure. I'm starting to get to the point where, like, this has got to start really affecting baby. I start having right upper quadrant pain on Monday. I was really trying to differentiate between, like, was I uncomfortable heartburn because she's so high? Was it really this far over? Like, where are we at? That sounds so weird. They're in different spots, but they're so similar. Because it's
like
a
you
bad...
also try to talk yourself out of
the
bad.
It's fine.
Yes.
Especially
right?
when you're
like,
positive, ultra positive.
And I'm like, at this point, like, I only work 2.5 days a week. I don't want to call into work. It's so silly, but I didn't want to call into work. I end up calling on my doc. I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm heading up to get checked out. I call up to labor and delivery, and they admit me for 24 hours. They run my labs, everything. My liver enzymes are elevated. So they're like, okay, here's where we're at. Like, at this point, I kind of know what they're going to tell me. This indicates elevated liver enzymes, indicates kind of the next steps. I got both steroid shots. They ran my labs again on Tuesday, and everything was normal. My liver enzymes went back down, which I thought was really weird. I was like, that seems weird. I, like, maybe thought that they would, like, fluctuate a little, but to fall back into the normal range is weird. And I remember asking, like, hey, is that normal? And they're like, well, it could have been, like, an adverse effect of the steroid shots.
Or what about gallstones, though, too?
Yeah, that, too. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we are sending you home, but they don't really call it bed rest anymore, but they're like, no, like, nothing, basically. Like, you don't have to lay in bed because you have kids at home, but, like, no laundry, no vacuuming, like, none of that. That's too much. Like, don't overdo it. And I'm like, okay. So I go home. I have an appointment that Thursday. Wednesday morning, I wake up sicker than shit. Throwing up, so sick. I was like, I contracted the fucking flu at the hospital. This is miserable. This is awful. Thursday morning, I wake up, and I feel better. I'm like, okay, cool. So 3:15, I go. At this point, they weren't making me leave urine samples either, because they said they've kind of changed, like, their views on, like, if we know there's urine in your, protein in your urine, we don't really care the amount of it now, because it's there, it's not going away. So that was kind of their thoughts, their takes on it. And see the look on your face, like,
I'm also not an L&D nurse.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, that makes sense.
I feel like that's kind of ass backwards. In
I
my opinion.
have to pee anyways. I'm prepared to pee every time I come into this place. Like,
right.
So I have to pee anyways.
And they check
Go up.
Me.
Yeah.
And I had nothing.
They usually do it all the time.
Checking
right?
healthy people. Might as well check the sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, I'd be like, I think you'd care a little bit more.
I agree. But I was like, that also makes sense. Like, it doesn't go away.
Well,
like,
they're also
it's
not
there.
just checking urine.
Right.
For protein. They're also checking for UTIs because
that's true.
Which can
be detrimental.
Especially when you're pregnant, you have decreased symptoms or none at all.
I had the worst.
There are so many undetected UTIs when you're pregnant. So that's another reason why they check it. So I feel like that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They shouldn't have checked it because I got a UTI with Lenny.
Yeah.
And you had no idea?
No.
Yeah.
But they
so
put me
hard.
on a thing that gave me, like, the most severe allergic reaction of my entire life. It might have been with Logan. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, like, I was, like, hives
Yes,
from the belly button up. And, like, I don't know what I like better.
Any sickness while being pregnant is just terrible.
Yeah,
like,
so
on
that's
top of
what
So
it.
that is crazy that they weren't checking.
Yeah, so
hindsight.
ultrasound, she's showing to be, like, a little small. My doctor at this point, I was like, are we going to draw my labs? And she's like, well, we just did them. And I said, honestly, I'd kind of just like to do them anyways. Like, let's just, my deductible at this point is every
there,
bit
baby.
met.
Yeah,
Like,
we are
let's
there.
just
Do it all.
let's just check him to be safe, to make sure, like, if it was an adverse reaction to steroids or whatever, like, let's just make sure.
Yeah.
4:15, thinking, oh, like, she'll rush my labs so she can get them back before they close.
No fucking way.
No. So I'm at home that night, still just not feeling that great. I get on and I check my labs. You know what liver enzymes are supposed to be at. Like in the 50s. No higher than 50s. 300s. They had just skyrocketed. Now, mind you, when they admitted me with Riggs and I was in full-blown HELLP syndrome, they had hit like 100. So then when they hit that, I was like, This is like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. That's weird that I haven't gotten...
Someone's going to call
That I haven't
me.
gotten a phone call. Because those are pretty severe symptoms. That's like, you should be admitted ASAP, and my platelets were low. So it made sense why I was puking. I call my aunt, who's a nurse in Cheyenne, and she's like, I can't believe someone hasn't called you.
Because you didn't receive a call, right?
No,
You looked.
I got no call.
However, nowadays, it's something that I hate as working in a hospital, but being a patient, it's really nice. The results, they populate in your portal before, sometimes even before a provider even looks at them.
So, and they told me, because I was like, this is crazy. They told me because I was not an inpatient patient, they did not come back severe. They did not ping my doctor, which I kind of thought was weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, get out of the bath, get dressed. My bags are packed again, right? Been there, done that. I'm ready. No baby stuff, because, like, listen, I'm 32 weeks. No baby's coming home with me anytime soon.
Right.
Like, we have a minute before any of that happens.
Right.
So I go up by myself again. Jason always laughs. He's like, we never had a time where I got to, like, take you to the hospital. I'm like, I know. He's like, people probably think I'm so shitty. And I'm like, not really. Like, we have kids at home. He was just putting them to bed before his parents came over. So we get up there. I get up there. They just started the whole shebang right away. Like, I was pretty well doped up on magnesium by the time Jason got there. So, of course, my blood pressure's just going up and up and up, right? Yeah. Like, we'd been walking a tightrope with it. It's just not getting any better. I was truthfully hoping I was going to have, like, one pregnancy that, like, was semi-term. Normal. Just term. Yeah, all I really wanted was 37 weeks, really. Like, I had 134, 136. I was hoping for the 30-ish 6 mark again, but we were 32. I was on track at my 32-week appointment. Their goal was still to give me a 37 weeks to gain 70 pounds in those 5 weeks because I was retaining so much fluid. Wow. I couldn't put shoes on, my feet hurt, it was the whole thing. My husband, like, love him, was like, you're not that swollen. I was like, do you see my feet? Like, my toes are just little sausages. But, okay, yeah, I'm not swollen. You can see it in my face. Like, you can see it my eyes hurt because, when you get puffy, like, I was just miserable. And so anesthesiologist comes in, and I'm like, so you're the one giving me my epidural tonight? And he goes, well, and I'm like, cool. So, no epidural? He's like, you're too sick. He's like, the risk is too high. We have to put you under. And I'm like, I said, I really hate that. I said, I take a long time to come out of anesthesia. I said, and it's long enough missing, like, all of that anyways. I don't really want that. He goes, you're so sick. He goes, this will be so fast. You're not going to be under long enough for it to, like, really kick your body's butt like you have been before. And I'm like, okay. And then the doctor comes in again and goes, so you're right on the cusp, and she doesn't weigh a lot. Baby doesn't weigh a lot. If she doesn't weigh enough, she has to go to Denver. I'm like, yeah. She's like, so do you want to fly to Denver and deliver there before baby's here? Like, do we need to see if we can get a plane? And that was kind of a whole nother curveball, like, that we hadn't really thought about. Again, if that was thrown at me with my first, it probably would have been like, yeah, just take me to Denver. And Jason was like, honestly, he's like, I feel like we just need to trust God's plan. Like, let's stay here. The doctors know you. They know us. And so I wake up, and she was able to stay. I found out we had a girl. She was able to stay. She was healthy, all things considered. Needed a little bit of oxygen, not a lot. And I think it's all so blurry. Ooh, that C-section though. After having my C-section with Truett, I said, if I have another baby, I will pick a C-section over a vaginal birth because it was so easy to heal from. I didn't have a nerve block. I was too sick, right? So they just put me under. So I woke up and I felt everything right away. If anybody's had a C-section in a hospital bed, they don't sit you up far enough to, like, not have to use some sort of muscle to try and, like, move and function. And, like, they're just not the best beds for it. So I'm feeling that right away. The magnesium kicked my ass 10 times harder than I could have imagined. I was terrified because she was 72-ish hours old before I could even think about pumping because the magnesium just, every time I sat up to do it, I fell back asleep. I was just sick. Like, I just couldn't wake up from it, couldn't come out of it. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like, you know, C-sections and early births hurt your milk coming in anyway, so that's always in the back of your mind. Like, so they supplemented her, and she was early enough. Like, a lot of people don't know also, they don't rush babies' food right away when they're that early. They're more worried, like, the sugar water and stimulating their lungs, and, like, when they're that early, they had her on caffeine to try and help with her lung stimulation, which was all news to me, too. And then, so I, like, 3, but she was healthy. Jason spent time with her until, like, you know, people coming in and out and saying hi and all that kind of stuff. Again, small town NICU, so we were always allowed to have a few more visitors than, like, most of the time you can have in bigger cities or in, like, children's hospitals, things like that. And she was 7 days old. They say she fell right on the cusp of needing that head ultrasound. Like, she was the cutoff. Only 1% of babies have a brain bleed at her age. She was just right on the cusp, and they said, like, let's just do it just in case.
And why is that? Why are babies that age?
Like, so not likely to have it?
Or why are they? Or, like...
If you ask my opinion, it's high blood pressure that causes it.
I was wondering that, but I didn't know if there was another reason that I wasn't aware of.
No, I 1,000% could probably say with that it's high blood pressure. You are pushing
Absolutely.
to an extreme the habitat that your baby's
Absolutely.
in, and it's not, you know.
I just
and
didn't know if there was like another predisposition, like if they're born at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's usually like really, you know, 25-week babies, you know, because of the germinal matrix in the center of the brain after 32 weeks is like kind of closed or whatever, like formed. Before then it's not. And that's what, and again, they tell you too, like any type of birth trauma could cause a brain bleed.
For sure.
Yeah.
There was 1 minute from the time they cut me open to the time she was born.
Right.
Like, so
there's like,
them yanking her out, like any of that, you know, could have caused it. So she was right on the cusp of that.
Why did they wait 7 days?
Because you can't see them right away. Like, sometimes they can be so small you can't see them right away.
I
So it is standard for them to wait,
I was always wondering, like, why they waited those 7 days.
And she had no signs, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was, by this point, she was off oxygen. She was still doing, like, I hadn't started, she was still tube feeding, but, like, she had no signs.
she was like
no
neurologically
issues.
intact.
Yeah, like
nothing.
completely normal for a 32-week baby. So they do it. I had completely forgotten that they ran the test. I came in that next morning. Jason always dropped me off at 6, and then I would stay from 6 to 9 so I could see the doctors, be there for the rounds, and he would always come in around 9 after irrigation. And I get there, and our doctor, who we've, again, had with all of our babies, was like, is Dad coming today? And I was like, yeah. She's like, do you think he can come any earlier? And I knew something was wrong. One, I had completely forgot that we had even done the head ultrasound, but I knew something was coming back abnormal with that statement.
Right.
Like,
Totally.
they never care. He comes when he comes. He's always here when you're here. Like, so I instantly panicked. Again, was kind of just crying, really shook by it. Called Jason, said, hey, come up as soon as you can. They obviously need to talk to us about something. And then there was a big miscommunication, because when she got the ultrasound, she called the tech or the doctor, and the doctor couldn't tell her what grade level it was.
Okay.
So she immediately called Denver and said, I need you to read this scan. And from what they said from our scans, it was a 3. Which is a scale 1 to 4, 4 being the worst, you know, so it's up there. It's not great. It's on the left side of her brain. But she's stable. It's going to take a minute to get her to Denver type thing.
Yeah.
But the doctor came in. This was the nurse practitioner. The doctor came in, thought that Candy, our nurse, had already talked to us, and she had not. So then he came up and started talking like, Mom, it's okay. Like, this happens. Like, babies are okay from this. And I was like, I'm
Okay,
so fucking confused here.
Yeah.
And she comes over, she's like, I haven't talked to him yet. And so it was just very triggering and traumatic. And, you know, the steps to transfer start. And that's a process. She was stable, so she wasn't emergent and didn't need to go right away. They ended up calling in, like, a team for, like, half a shift, a special shift to fly. They brought the fixed wing. We sat there, like, all day just kind of waiting. packed our bags, got everything ready, so when we left, we could leave with her. I could either fly with her. We were sitting up in the NICU, like, just holding her, and I was kind of like, if we wait until they get here, we're going to be hours behind them. I was like, so I asked one of the nurses, I was like, do parents ever just leave and go so they're there when the baby gets there? And one of the nurses, she's like, I would probably recommend it. I'm so thankful that we have great friends that work up there who, like, FaceTime me when she was leaving and all of that, so we didn't miss all of that. But so thankful I didn't leave my husband to make that drive by himself.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So we get to PSL. We beat her there by, like, 5 minutes. We had time to check into our hotel. They get her. She barely needed oxygen on the flight. Like, she did really well. They get her all checked in, so we're at the hospital till probably like 2:30 in the morning. They were doing new scans, like they wanted their own scans, own tests.
And like a serial one, you know.
Yep,
Yeah.
and the neurosurgeon was coming in to visit with us, which at this point we found out it wasn't a grade 3, it was a grade 4. And everybody Googles everything. When you Google those, they're not great. Like 50% of babies don't survive grade 4 brain bleeds. The other 50% that do have very high chances of cerebral palsy and just a hard life. Like, it becomes very hard. So we are up in Denver for about a week before we have to kind of start pulling the whole here and there with the kids at home and, like, rotating grandparents and all of that. And Jason's, it's August. We're not busy. Like,
Right.
So we have to start trying to plan and figure out a schedule. Again, all of this is easier because she's stable. You know, I don't think I could have left Denver if she wasn't stable. She got head ultrasounds every Tuesday, Monday, and Thursday. So, like, we had 2 head ultrasounds a week, and you just kind of waited.
Right.
So now we're in Denver. 50 days was her total time. And we're just kind of sitting and waiting. Like, it was like, man, Jason says all the time, if they would have never done the head ultrasound, I don't think you would have ever known that she had one. This was another crazy thing. Like, again, I'm so thankful we were in Denver. Because she was on caffeine, when your heart rate is just really high all the time.
Tachycardic.
Yes. She was that basically from birth. And nobody could figure out why until the doctor one day was like, well, why don't we take her off the caffeine? And I was like, well...
Yeah.
I kind of have been thinking it, but, you know, I figured that would have been
I'm not
an option.
a fucking doctor, you guys are.
An option like a couple weeks ago. If our resting heart rate's like high 180s, 200s, like, let's kind of try and knock it down a little bit. Like,
yeah.
So then we withdrew her off caffeine, and her heart rate obviously went down. Like, so they were uneasy about the heart rate. They did an ultrasound of, if that's the right one, of her heart, just to make sure, which...
Echo.
Yep, she also has, I don't even know the right term for it. Her left ventricle that wraps around, that is supposed to go to the left of her, wraps around her heart and takes the long way around. So also at some point could never cause her issues. If it starts to affect her esophagus, you know, we might have to figure out what to do with that. But I'm like, cool, so she's just like a 1 in a million baby. Like, let's just keep tacking it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But did you ever get answers in those, like, 50 days?
Oh, so we go to check out, and we're, like, waiting for a doctor. You know, you sometimes wait for a while. It's till they make their rounds. And no doctor ever comes in. And they're just like, yeah, you're good to go home. And I'm like, well, I kind of have questions. Like, are we just pretending she's a normal baby that didn't have a brain bleed? Like, do I need to be concerned if she hits her head? Like,
what do I need
if
to
her
look
brothers,
for?
yes, like,
Yeah, she
we're
has
well
2 older
aware,
brothers.
we're well aware of the soft spot, you know, that we're watching for the fluid buildup there. And they're like, no. And I'm like, this is wild. I for sure think I could have went without knowing about it at all. Like, and up there
crazy.
also, you're grateful to run into parents who are going through the same thing, who have success stories. So that's reassuring as well. A few of our nurses had been, you know, like, one of our nurses, her friend's daughter was getting ready to graduate this year as the valedictorian in Colorado, and she had a grade 4 brain bleed, has cerebral palsy, but the spectrum for that's very high.
It is, yeah.
So she has it because she has, like, one finger that she, like, can't move normally and has no feeling in. So then you start looking at your spectrum of, like, what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And it's massive. Again, you're in this big spectrum of no answers.
Yeah.
Symptoms of cerebral palsy can show up. They watch so closely until age 2. Like, so we're still kind of in that timeline. She's only 14 months. So we head home. We have a Zoom call with the neurosurgeon like the following week, and he like looks at her soft spot on the Zoom call or whatever and asks about how everything's going, and he's like, "You're cleared from me. Like, you don't need me anymore. She's fine." Like,
that's so scary.
He's like, "But if there's ever a time that you have questions or need something, you're already in, so you get to call us right away, and we take her back and we figure it out." Like,
every day.
But like, you just go from, I'm like, "Do we have checkups, follow-ups here? Like, am I looking at coming back once a month or whatever?" "No, just normal checkups." And I'm like,
It's insane.
I cannot wrap my brain around this right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy. So we follow up for 4 times in the first 2 years with just developmental specialists, like no neurosurgeons or anything, just their therapists there, making sure that they're kind of on track. But again, like, preemie babies without a brain bleed are graded on a like a scale anyways. A skewed scale, right? Because they're early.
Right.
So all of these little setbacks that are minor that no one would notice that she had or not, I do because I'm her parent.
And she's your third.
And she's my third NICU baby. Like, all of that are probably no more than her just being 2 months early. You know? They also say the human only uses, like, what is it? Like, maybe half of the capacity of our
30%
brain.
or something.
Like, some crazy small amount of our brain. She was so little that the chances are her brain rewired, and the right side of her brain took over and learned what's missing in the left side of her brain. Because the left side of her brain, the part that it hit is the frontal, so it's her movement, right? So we're constantly watching the right side of her body for lack of movement, moving her hands, anything like that, being kind of slower on the right, stiffness, anything. When it comes to things, she favors her left. But I hold her in my left arm, so she's constantly got her left arm available.
Right.
There's so many factors, like, it's really weird.
Wow.
We have an eye doctor appointment with her in Denver in 2 weeks because she still goes cross-eyed a little bit, more than I would like. And for me, like, if glasses and working on vision is what we have to deal with from all of this, that's like the least of my worries.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yeah, a wild ride of birth stories. Like, 3 for 3 NICU babies, craziness. They're all so healthy.
Honestly,
Literally,
I will say how lucky your kids are too. Like, I've seen so many kids that people don't realize how detrimental it is being born so early, especially with feeding. I've taken care of kids that were born super early, almost like around the time that like Lainey was born, and they get to be 2 to 3 and they still have a peg tube. Because they don't know how to eat.
Right.
Which is crazy. And some of them are still on oxygen when they sleep or whatever. Like, the fact that all 3 of your kids, like, you look at them and they appear like everything was kosher. Like
Lainey's small.
Crazy.
Like, you know, people are like, "How old is she?" And I'm like, 14 months. They're like, "She's so little." Well, yeah, she was 2 months early, but, like, she'll catch up. I'm not concerned about it at all. She eats more than Ariel's 2 kids combined. We're so fortunate. They at first thought that, like, she was gonna have to come home on oxygen, and my husband, small town naive guy, was like, "They go home on oxygen?" And I'm like, "Oh my god."
They like to send
You've never seen,
especially
and
here.
they do.
In the mountains, they send them up all the time on oxygen. I was like, "Do we need
because of the mountains, the elevation?" He was like, "She probably won't need it once she gets back."
Once
and then
you get
she
back
ended
to
up
Nebraska,
like being completely fine and running. They don't even, what is it? They don't even expect like 99 to 100 in Colorado. They let them go a little lower.
They let it
85.
go. They're okay with like 90 and above.
Yeah.
Like,
so like she ran higher than what they were okay
at 85
with.
when I call, they're like,
Yeah.
they're fine.
They're like, yeah, they're probably fine.
I'm like,
Because of Colorado.
Yeah, I was like,
but
okay.
Because we're at 8,400 feet.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is that what I'm at?
Right.
All the time. It makes me wonder.
I know, I want to put an outlet sock on my toe.
see what you cover. But yeah, it's just so crazy. We're so blessed. We're so thankful. She truly is like I call her our little miracle baby. Like, so.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is why when I say I didn't want to not have any more, but I knew in my heart that I needed to not have any more. That's why.
Yeah.
I got so sick, dangerously sick. My babies clearly couldn't go, like, my body just shuts down.
And ultimately, like, we don't know this for sure, but, like, there's a good chance that, like, your baby was affected by how sick you got.
1,000%.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
And
so, yeah,
I agree.
I
if
get
you
where
keep
you're coming
getting
from.
sicker,
Yeah.
the next time,
What's going to happen?
what
Yeah.
would happen to you? And now you have 3 babies. Now.
Me, and, like, yeah, there's just so many factors. It's like, you have 3 healthy babies. Can anybody really afford to have more than that these days anyways? Like,
Can anyone
And
afford
where we
3?
live?
I'm at 2, and I'm like, how
and I'm in
did
western Nebraska, not Colorado, and I'm like, shit around. Like,
Yeah.
my grocery bills already, and they're not even teenagers.
Yeah.
Like,
Mine don't eat.
It's crazy.
So.
Mine don't need so it works out.
Your grocery bills
Oh
are going
my
up.
gosh, that's wild. Especially because, like, I mean, you have answers, but you really don't. And it's
I know.
just like so many
It's wild.
unknowns. And you see these like perfectly healthy babies, but you're like,
Yeah, I did have some, like I said, I have some friends up at the hospital. I am so grateful for every labor and delivery nurse we had, every NICU nurse we had. Because of the small community, we knew all of them. I felt like I knew most of them by the time I left Denver as well. Like, God sent angels to be NICU nurses for sure. Nurses in general.
Yeah.
Like, they are angels sent from above because it takes a special person to do it. But, yeah, when they can care for those little babies and...
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I could not.
no. I went and visited Lainey one time, and she was just an itty bitty tiny thing. And I was like on the list, but our babies are so close in age. So it was like anytime Lenny even looked like, and Lenny was like detrimentally sick for her entire first
Like
10
the first
months.
10 months she was alive.
She's just sick, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be visiting
chronically
Lady,
ill.
and Lenny's like, well, I'm gonna trump that by just
Yeah.
being sick the
You
whole
want to
time.
go see another baby?
Yeah,
How about
she's
not?
like, how about not? I
Try
want my
this,
head
Mom.
cold.
How about this fever
Yeah,
today?
so I went one time, and she was like just so little, and I'm just like, I could not imagine NICU babies. I could not imagine seeing, like, my babies were like 6 pounds when they came out, and I thought they were these like tiny, incapable, itty bitty humans. And then I saw Lainey, I think she was like 4'8" or
Maybe.
something, and I'm like, what is
She
this
maybe
thing?
would have even been 5 pounds when you saw her.
Oh my
Like, she
gosh.
could have hit the 5 pound mark.
It
But
was
yeah,
crazy.
when they come out that small.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough wisdom for one day. Go hydrate, call your mom, and hug your babies. And hey, give yourself a little grace while you're at it. Catch us next time. Same place, same chaos. See you later.